Sydney and Sydney Uni have been in front from the start here, and certainly Sydney University getting the best of the closing strokes of this race. They continue to hold on by what would still be around about a boat length or so lead. As you suggested, Lizzie, Sydney are coming in the closing strokes. Ella Hudson and Sophia Carmody not content with a silver medal, but they've got a length or so to make up and not a great deal of water in which to do so. It's still Sydney University Boat Club over on lane 4 who lead this race by what looks to be a clear length or so. Sydney Rowing Club in second place. The Tasmanians over in lane 3 now. Very comfortable in third, but the win will go to Ruby O'Keefe and Sophie Houston from the Sydney University Boat Club. A great result from that very new combination in a double scull. Second place to Sydney Rowing Club, Ella Hudson and Sophia Carmody. Third will go to Northwest Tasmania University, and they're very happy with that result as well. Fourth will be close. It'll be lane 2, just Brisbane and GPS ahead of Genazzano in lane 8. And then in quick succession, the Melbourne Composite crew were just home ahead of the Huon Composite and also Capital Lakes in lane 7 in 8th place. A great race, Liz, of the under-19 women's double scull final.
Really fantastic race. So recapping there, the finish order was in the final of the under-17 women's double scull. A win for Sydney University Boat Club, Ruby O'Keefe and Sophie Houston, coached by Alfie Young. In second, Sydney Rowing Club. Sydney Rowing Club, the crew of Ella Hudson and Sophia Carmody, coached by Lachlan Carter, Donovan Check and Simon Pennington. In third, the North Esk Tasmania composite of Abby Boucher and Rebecca Bye. Brisbane and GPS Pine Rivers were fourth. Fifth was Genazzano. Sixth, Melbourne Footscray City composite. Seventh, Huon Tasmania University composite. And eighth, Capital Lakes. Time for that event, 7 minutes, 27.24 seconds, 7:27.24, the margins 3.21 and 5.89. The presentation of medals for the Under-17 Men's Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Murray Stewart, Chief Executive Officer of Rowing Queensland. Third place and bronze medalists, a composite from Centenary and Nepean Rowing Club. Dua Kalantar from Nepean Rowing Club. Harry Knott from Centenary. The crew is coached by Michael Opstelton, Daniel Waddell and Peter Wadsworth. Second place and silver medalists, the Cathedral School. Ben Horsnell. Gordon Applecrin. The crew was coached by Stefan Muhlenberg. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2019, the Southport School. Lockie Wright. Mackenzie Branch. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our 2019 Australian champions and the medalists in the Under-17 men's double scull. The next race is underway. I wonder if it'll be as exciting as the last one. This time, the Under-19 men's double scull, and they're racing for the Tim Hawkins Memorial Trophy. In lane 1, Hunter Valley Grammar School, Isaac Shepherd and Arthur Bowman. In lane 2, Fremantle and West Australian, Harvey Rupp and Digby Marshall. In lane 3, Radford College, Noah Sampson and Damien Schroeder. In lane 4, Team Japan, Senosuke Nakajo and Hiroki Aoki. In lane 5, a composite from Melbourne Melbourne University and West Australian Rowing Club, Hamish Henrique and Harry Fox. In lane 6 from Townsville and James Cook University with Canterbury College, Jared Lord and Anthony Grech. In lane 7, a composite between UTS and Mossman, Patrick Burke and Max von Appen. And in lane 8, a composite between the Cathedral School of Townsville and the University of Queensland, Clancy Doe and Bradley Graham. A few names in there from yesterday's singles final.
Indeed, including the winner of the under-19 men's single scull, Hamish Henriques, who won racing for the West Australian Rowing Club and the West Australian Institute of Sport. He's teamed up today with Harry Fox from the Melbourne University Boat Club, and they are the boat that has canted out to the lead here, very comfortably clear the lane 5 combination. Henriques and Fox, who are coached by Jamie Hewlett. But a good representation here from around the country, as well as Team Japan. We've got 5 different Australian states and territories in this final, including that composite West Australian Victorian crew at the head of the field, being chased most closely, it would seem, by Radford College from the ACT there in second place, Noah Sampson and Damien Schroeder. And then Team Japan in lane 4, Sensuke Nakajo and Hiroki Aoki, the crew there from Japan. And you can see it's becoming a pretty good battle for the minor places especially, but there are our race leaders, Hamish Henriques of the West Australian Rowing Club and Harry Fox from the Melbourne University Boat Club. And then the battle for second place from Mantle there as well, Harvey Rupp of the West Australian Rowing Club and Digby Marshall from Mantle.
So here, the Team Japan, as we know, are here. That's part of their junior team, and they're here preparing because, of course, they will be the host of the Junior World Championships later on this year. Hiroki Aoki, the single sculler representing Japan at the World Championships last year. So obviously gaining further international experience by coming to this course in Sydney. I think he'll find it very different from the course in Rachichi in Czechoslovakia.
Indeed, yes. The Junior World Champions this year at the Olympic course in Tokyo. It's the official test event for the Olympic regatta next year, which is part of the reason the young Japanese team is here gaining some experience at the Sydney International Rowing Regatta. They sit in probably still third place, the Japanese. They were third at the 1,000-metre mark, but a big margin has opened up here from this composite crew, Melbourne University and the West Australian Rowing Club, Hamish Henriques and Harry Fox, who have had 7.64 seconds, in fact, at the halfway mark. Their lead over Radford College, then Team Japan. And moving up into 4th spot was the composite crew from a couple of Sydney clubs, Patrick Burke of Mossman, Max von Appen of the University of Technology, Sydney. Max von Appen was 3rd in the single scull yesterday, a couple of places behind Hamish Henriques, who's looking for his 2nd gold medal in as many days, and they are really very comfortably in front, that crew from both Melbourne University and the West Australian Rowing Club. About those two?
No. Oh, he's obviously...
So they're past the 1,500-metre mark now, and it is still Melbourne University and the West Australian Rowing Club very, very comfortably clear. 4:57.07 their time, and they're out to 10.35 seconds now over Radford College, Noah Sampson and Damien Schroeder, coached by Vicky Spencer. They're holding on to second place, 1.5 seconds, so about half a length over our bronze medalist now, provisionally the UTS Mossman composite crew, Patrick Burke and Max von Appen. Coming down close to the grandstand side of the course here in lane 7. A good battle for them across with Team Japan, the Joki and Aoki in 4th place. And also lane 8 there, the Cathedral, Townsville and University of Queensland composite crew, Clancy Doe and Bradley Graham. So it could be a good race close to the grandstand here for the minor medals. But there's little doubt about our winners here. We're still over 100 metres to go. But this is a dominant performance from Hamish Henriques of the West Australian Rowing Club and Harry Fox of the Melbourne University Boat Club there in the stroke seat of that crew. Still on this side, the UTS composite crew might be a chance to move up into 2nd place. In fact, with Radford College College still there fighting out with Team Japan. But have a look at our race leaders here. A couple of strokes to go, and what a win to the crew from lane 5. Enriques and Fox take out the under-19 men's double scull for the West Australian and Melbourne University boat clubs. Silver a bit more interesting here with Mossman UTS on this side, and Radford College have been second for the journey. They'll just hold on. I think Radford College might sneak the silver. Third place, UTS. Mossman will get the bronze, and fourth, just missing out, that crew from Team Japan who are gallant throughout the journey. Fifth place will go to lane 8, Cathedral and the University of Queensland. Sixth, lane 2, Fremantle and the West Australian Rowing Club. Seventh will be Townsville, JCU and Canterbury College. And eighth on the far side is Hunter Valley Grammar. So tight for second and third, but it is UTS Mossman. In fact, from Radford College, it looks like on the times we have here, but Melbourne University, the easy winners.
Yes, so let's confirm those results then, because probably a little different to what you saw going across what you might have heard as they went across the line. Recapping the results of the final of the under-19 men's double scull. First, Melbourne University West Australian composite of Hamish Henrique and Harry Fox. Second, Radford College, Noah Sampson and Damien Schroeder. Third, UTS composite of Patrick Burke from Mossman and Max von Appen from UTS. Just missing out on a medal, Team Japan. They were fourth. In fifth, Cathedral School, University of Queensland composite. In sixth, the Fremantle West Australian composite. In seventh, Townsville and JCU Canterbury College composite. And in eighth, Hunter Valley Grammar School. Can hear the music. Time for this event, 6 minutes 38.06, 13.03 was the first margin, then 0.03, and Japan missing out by just under a second. The presentation of medals for the Under-19 Women's Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Murray Stewart, Chief Executive Officer of Rowing Queensland. Third place and bronze medalists representing North Esk and Tasmania University Boat Club. Abby Boucher from Tasmania University Boat Club. Rebecca Bye from North Esk Rowing Club. The crew is coached by Trevor Barrett and Graham Scattergood. Second place and silver medalists, Sydney Rowing Club. Ella Hudson. Sophia Carmody. The crew is coached by Lachlan Carter, Donovan Check and Simon Pennington. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2019, Sydney University Boat Club. Ruby O'Keefe. Sophie Houston. The crew is coached by Alfie Young. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our 2019 Australian champions and medalists in the Under-19 Women's Double Scull. So the final of the Under-19 Women's Coxless 4 is now in progress. In lane 2, we have a crew from Loreto. Oh, sorry, they have scratched. Loreto Marriottville have scratched. In lane 3, a composite from the University of Queensland and Toowong. In lane 4, Toowong, supported by the Queensland Academy of Sport. In lane 5, the University of Queensland. In lane 6, Tasmania University. And in lane 7, Loreto Kirribilli. Oh, and unfortunately, we've just heard that Loreto Kirribilli did not start.
So then there were 4, it appears, in the final of the under-19 women's Coxless 4. The 2 Loretos are absent on opposite sides of the course, which make it slightly easier to get the names out at least. But it is a field of 4. University of Queensland Toowong over on the far side now. It's the Toowong Queensland Academy of Sport crew that would be our race leaders, clearly out in front there. Then the University of Queensland lane 5 and Tasmania University in 6. So 3 crews from various clubs in Queensland. And one, of course, from the south of the country, the Tasmania University Boat Club. That's the always distinctive red boat there in lane 6. You can see how flat that water is ahead of these rowers as they certainly enjoy perfect conditions here at Penrith as they race towards the Blue Mountains in the background of that shot, and our commentary position high up in the finish tower at the end of the course there as well. And it is the Toowong Queensland Academy of Sport combination. Sophie Gerber, Lucy Hope, Phoebe Robinson, Laura Chancellor, our race leaders here, coached by Andrew Gerber, Kieran Dreyer and Ben Southwell. And they are a pretty well credentialed crew, Lizzie. Our race leaders on lane 4. Sophie Gerber was the winner of the under-19 single scull yesterday, and Phoebe Robinson and Laura Chancellor took home the under-19 pair. So you'd expect them to be the favourites for this race, certainly. See the tandem rig on that Toowong crew as well. The 2 and 3 seats both rowing on the same side. So clearly some science has gone into setting up that boat, and it's working well for them as they lead the University of Queensland. Beside them in lane 5, that's Phoebe Howe, Kirsten Viljohn, Gabby Byrne, Mackenzie Durbridge, coached by Augustin Rodero and Richard Powell, but about a length between those top couple of crews, just over a length. You can see it is. They're now Clearwater between first and second. Toowong and the QAS leading University of Queensland. It was 3.58 seconds at the halfway mark of the race, and then 7 seconds back to lane 3. Another composite crew from the Brisbane clubs, Mia Vecchio of the University of Queensland, Ellie Reedy also of the University of Queensland, Elka Marriott from the Toowong Rowing Club, and Carly Furman from the University of Queensland Boat Club as well. They sit there in 3rd place in the bronze medal at this stage of the race. And then 4th would be that Tasmania University crew closest to the grandstand side of the course, with lane 7 now being vacant. That's Gabriella Woodhouse, Maddie Lamb, Jemima Morgan, Summer Carpenter, and they're coached by Mark Stott. But still a significant margin here to Toowong and the Queensland Academy of Sport in lane 4. Gerber, Hope, Robinson and Chancellor. Already a successful regatta for a number of the girls in this boat, and looks like it'll continue here as they have certainly a comfortable lead over the University of Queensland there in 2nd place. Howe, Viljohn, Byrne and Durbridge. And then Clearwater, certainly more Clearwater, back to 3rd place over on the far side. University of Queensland, Toowong, and then Tasmania University continue to sit in 4th position. So they're just about at the 1,500 metre mark now. In fact, our leaders have gone through there on lane 4. Toowong and the QAS through first in 5:21.47. And the margin now out to 4.56 seconds. So just over 4.5 seconds from first to second, around about a boat length and a half that would be. And it is the 3 Queensland combinations who look likely to take home the medals here, because there's 8.5 seconds then back to lane 3 in 3rd place. The University of Queensland and Toowong combination. Vecchio, Reedy and Furman from UQ, and Marriott from the Toowong Rowing Club as well. That's the crew out on the far side, the left-hand side of your picture, clearly in 3rd place there with the umpire's boat getting in fairly close behind them. And then back over this side on the grandstand side, it is the Tasmania University combination. Woodhouse, Lamb, Morgan and Carpenter in 4th position. So just on 2:50 to go now for our race leaders. And it looks like it'll be a fairly comfortable all-the-way win here to the Toowong Rowing Club, which means the under-19 Women's Coxless 4 title will remain in Queensland. It was won last year by a crew from the Griffith University Surfers Paradise Club on the Gold Coast of Queensland. It's going to travel up the M1 100 kilometres or so and go to Toowong in Brisbane, it would seem almost certain now. Sophie Gerber, Lucy Hope, Phoebe Robinson and Laura Chancellor comfortably clear for the Toowong Rowing Club on lane 4. The University of Queensland is chasing hard on lane 5, but too much ground to make up from here, you would think, as they do wind up the rating, the University of Queensland in the closing strokes, but the margin is going to be too much to make up with about 40 metres to row. So Toowong lane 4, our race leaders, about to take out the under-19 women's Coxless 4 final as they approach the line and take the final stroke now. Toowong across to get the win. They'll do it by about a length and a half. Second place, the University of Queensland. Third on the far side, the UQ and Toowong composite combination. And then fourth place on this side will be Tasmania University.
So confirming the results of the final of the under-19 women's Coxless 4. A win for Toowong and the Queensland Academy of Sport crew of Gerber, Hope, Robinson and Chancellor. Second, the University of Queensland. Howe, Viljoen, Byrne and Durbridge. And in third, the composite of the University of Queensland and Toowong, Vecchio, Reddy, Marriott and Firmin. Fourth, Tasmania University. Time for that event was 7 minutes, 13.79 seconds. The margin 4.01 and 12.19. The presentation of medals for the Under-19 Men's Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Margaret Mackenzie, OAM, Life Member of Rowing Australia. Third place and bronze medalist, representing Radford College, Noah Sampson. Damien Schroeder. The crew is coached by Vicky Spencer. Second place and silver medalist, the composite from UTS and Mossman Rowing Clubs. From UTS, Max von Appen. From Mossman Rowing Club, Patrick Burke. The crew is coached by Alex Field and Matthias Ungemach. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2019. The composite from Melbourne University Boat Club and West Australian Rowing Club. Margaret is now presenting Tim Hawkins with the presenting the Tim Hawkins Memorial Trophy to Harry Fox from Melbourne University Boat Club. Unable to join us at the moment is the other gold medalist Hamish Henrique from West Australian Rowing Club, and the crew is coached by Jamie Hewlett. We're just making sure that Hamish and Harry get their medals. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd ask you then to please congratulate all our medalists in the Under-19 Men's Double Scull Championship of Australia. Moving now to the final of the under-19 women's Coxed 4. In lane 1, Walford Anglican. In lane 2, Wesley College. In lane 3, Wendouree Ballarat. In lane 4, Queenwood. In lane 5, Geelong College. In lane 6, a second Geelong College crew. Lane 5 is stroked by Emily Bagnara and lane 6 is stroked by Kate Dowling. In lane 7, Canberra Girls Grammar School, and in lane 8, Loreto Kirribilli.
So a full field of 8 this time around in the final of the under-19 women's Coxed 4. We've just seen the Coxless event concluded. These are the Coxed 4s, and a much closer race here, at least in the early stages, than we saw in the previous event. The Queenwood School from here in Sydney would be the narrow race leaders, just on a second ahead of Canberra Girls Grammar in lane 7. Again, distinctive boats airways of the Canberra Girls Grammar School with the green bow and stern section, but they sit ever so narrowly behind our race leaders from Queenwood in lane 4. Queenwood, Canberra Girls Grammar. The Geelong College would be in 3rd place. They've got a couple of crews in this race, 3rd and 5th at this stage, the 2 crews from the Geelong College. Wendouree Ballarat sits between them in 4th, and Wesley College in 6th position. That's Wesley College, Melbourne. Walford Anglican and Loreto Kirribilli at the extremities of the course sit in 7th and 8th. But a good race between Queenwood there in lane 4 and Canberra Girls Grammar School. 2 crews who would have, I suspect, raced a bit amongst themselves at regattas here in New South Wales over the past few months or so. And Queenwood, I think, Lizzie, were the winners of the New South Wales Head of the River.
They were indeed, yes. A very exciting race indeed against Pymble Ladies College. So Queenwood got back the trophy, and certainly featuring constantly in those 8s, but also in a 4, Lauren Smits, Alexandra Nell, Ingrid Holthoyer and Olivia O'Donnell, who are coxed by Kira Osterdal. Their coaches Adam de Koning and Kieran Glynn, ever present. It's a busy school. They do a lot of racing, and those 2 coaches do a really good job under the directorship of Alfie Young, who we saw coaching Sophie Houston from Queenwood and Ruby O'Keefe in that double scull.
Obviously a very busy man is Alfie Young, it seems. And a very good race here too. So Queenwood, correct me if I'm wrong, was about 0.29 of a second was their win in the Head of the River on Saturday.
Yes, I think so.
One of the closest finishes ever in that race. So and it's pretty similar here between Queenwood in the 4 and Canberra Girls Grammar School as well, battling out for the lead here in this under-19 women's Cox 4. The Geelong College still with 2 crews in this race. Now it looks as if that's the 2 halves of the Geelong College 8 that finished second in the Victorian Head of the River to their old rivals from the Geelong Grammar School. Geelong Grammar beating home the Geelong College by about 3 seconds in the Victorian Head of the River at Ngambie on Saturday as well. But they're back in the battle for 3rd at this stage. Our top 2 have really cleared out. There's not much between them. In fact, as they came through the 1,000-metre mark, it looks like the timing system had Queenwood and Canberra Girls Grammar School absolutely locked together on 3:38.16, and still it is there now. The bows just moving through those lines of boys, almost in unison. That green bow of the Canberra Girls Grammar School ever so narrowly sleeking in front to the lead, but it changes virtually stroke by stroke at the moment. So a great race here between Queenwood and Canberra Girls Grammar. And then a good race for the bronze too between those couple of crews from the Geelong College, also Wendouree Ballarat, Wesley College, and then Loreto Kirribilli and Walford Anglican. But our race leaders nearing the 1,500-metre mark, and still nothing separates those 2. Queenwood's Lauren Smits, Alexandra Nell, Ingrid Holthoyer and Olivia O'Donnell, coxed by Kira Osterdal, and Canberra Girls Grammar School, Zara Collison, Grace Turner, Anna Khan, Harriet Wallace and Izzy Shaw, the cox of that lane 7 combination. They're at 1,500 metres now, and a comparatively big margin of 1/4 of a second between these 2 crews. Queenwood have got themselves back in front, 5:30.98 by 1/4 of a second over the crew from Canberra Girls Grammar School, who won a bronze medal in this event, in fact in the Coxed Quad at the New South Wales State Championship. So a bronze medal there. You reckon they're going to get at least a silver here and still a chance of the gold, but Queenwood are pushing here in the final 500 metres now. Queenwood across in lane 4, the Head of the River champions of New South Wales in the 8. And they continue to lead Canberra Girls Grammar School by probably about a third of a length now, with the Geelong College Lane 6, the best of those two crews from that school. The combination there of Lily Tierney, Amy Thornton, Holly Lazarus, Kate Dowling and Eliza Gross for the Geelong College in third place. Wesley College from Melbourne, the Hannah Every Hall coach crew over on the far side, may well be fourth. Wendouree Ballarat alongside them, and the second crew from the Geelong College as well. But the race looks to be still on between these two, Queenwood and Canberra Girls Grammar School for the gold medal here. And then the Geelong College Lane 6, probably fairly safe in third, who are moving up, in fact, on Canberra Girls Grammar School in the lane beside them. And the closing strokes of the race as well. The under-19 women's Coxed 4, the Queenwood School from Sydney, being chased down by Canberra Girls Grammar School with that green bow on this side of the course. And the Geelong College still there in third place, but Queenwood have got themselves in the ascendancy here as they push down towards the finish line with 4 or 5 strokes to go. It is Queenwood in front in the under-19 women's Coxed 4. The Canberra Girls Grammar School trying to run them down, but they won't quite get there, and Queenwood get the win. Queenwood by half a length in the under-19 women's Coxed 4. Second place goes to Canberra Girls Grammar School. The Geelong College Lane 6 will finish in third place. Fourth then to Wesley College over in Lane 2. Fifth will be Lane 8, Loretto Kirribilli coming home fairly quickly in the closing stages. Sixth place Lane 3, the crew from Wendouree Ballarat, just ahead of the second crew from the Geelong College. And eighth on the far side is Walford Anglican.
Confirming the results of the final of the under-19 women's Coxed 4, a win for Queenwood. Second, Canberra Girls Grammar School. Third, Geelong College, stroked by Kate Dowling. Fourth, Wesley College. Fifth, Loretto Kirribilli. Sixth, Wendouree Ballarat. Seventh, Geelong College. And eighth, Walford Anglican. The time for the event was 7 minutes 21.84 seconds, 7:21.84. The margins 1.51 and 6.22. The presentation of medals for the under-19 women's Coxless 4 Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Margot Harley, Chief Executive Officer of Rowing New South Wales. Third place and bronze medalists, the composite from the University of Queensland and Toowong Rowing Clubs. Mia Vecchio, Ellie Reedy, Elkie Marriott, Carly Furman. The crew was coached by Augustin Radero and Richard Powell. Second place and silver medalists, the University of Queensland Boat Club. Phoebe Howe. Kirsten Viljoen. Gabby Byrne. Mackenzie Durbridge. The crew was coached by Augustin Radero and Richard Powell. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2019, Toowong Rowing Club. Sophie Gerber. Lucy Hope. Sophie and Lucy will take the medals for Phoebe and Robinson and Laura Chancellor, who can't be with us for the presentation. The crew was coached by Andrew Gerber, Kieran Dwyer and Benjamin Southwell and supported by the Queensland Academy of Sport. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our champions and the medalists in the under-19 women's Coxless 4. We now have the final of the under-19 men's Coxless 4. In lane 3, Toowong. In lane 4, Mossman. In lane 5, a composite between Swan River and West Australian. In lane 6, Rockhampton Grammar.
And they're underway, just through the first 500 metres, in fact, and pretty close between our leading two crews in the centre lanes. The composite combination from Western Australia, Swan River, and the West Australian Rowing Clubs. Their race leaders by 0.69 of a second from the Mossman Rowing Club in second place. And then Rockhampton Grammar School, lane 6, would be third, ahead of Toowong over on the far side of the course. So West Australian crew in front. New South Wales combination in second place, and two Queensland crews sitting third and fourth at this stage, fighting out for the bronze medals on the extremities of the course. And you can see there the top two have certainly cleared out very comfortably in front, and possibly look set to battle this one out down to the finish line, the final of the under-19 men's Coxless 4. It was Team Argentina, the defending champions, after winning this race last year, not present at this year's Sydney International Rowing Regatta. So we'll have a new winner, and it does look like it will come from those two crews in the centre lanes. Lizzie, Mossman in 4 and Swan River, West Australia in 5.
I think you might be right there, looking at that
Brave
drone
call,
footage. Yep. So in this Mossman Rowing Club 4, I think we mentioned this earlier in the regatta, but we have got 3 schools in the one crew there. Nick Pender and Torben Ungermark, a really fine pair. I can't remember, I'm sure they medalled yesterday, but they've certainly been very fast throughout the regatta and throughout the season. Nick Pender, Lexi McLean, Torben Ungermark and Nick Rath from 3 schools, from St Augustine's College, which is where one of the coaches, Matthias Ungermark, coaches. He's also the head coach of Mossman Rowing Club. Ross Tong from St Joseph's College and Julian Huxley from the King's School. And they've combined really well. I was quite impressed when we saw this crew race earlier.
They both placed in the under-19 men's Coxless pair yesterday. In fact, Nick Pender and Torben Ungermark took the silver medal. And also in the A final at the other end of the field was Lexi McLean and Nick Rath, who finished in 8th place. So 2 A finalists here combining from the pairs event. The bronze medal was won by the West Australians. Duke Gordon and Riley Reese-Turner finished in 3rd place for the West Australian and Swan River Rowing Club. So they're in these 2 leading crews. The under-19 men's Coxless pair was actually won by a crew from Brighton Grammar, so not racing in the 4, it seems, but this race in 2 still in the centre lanes between the West Australian combination and Mossman. The Brighton Grammar pairs, it looks like, have combined to go into the under-19 Coxed 4, the race to follow, so not in the Coxless event, but it is certainly still a good battle between these 2 crews in the middle lanes. It was 0.41 of a second to Swan River and the West Australian Rowing Club at halfway, and they're about to come through the 1,500 metre mark now as well. It does seem like that Mossman crew has extended their lead, and indeed they have, out to 1.28 seconds now at the 1,500 metre mark of the under-19 men's Coxless 4. So Mossman, our race leaders, Nick Pender, Lexi McLean, Torben Ungermark and Nick Rath, coached by Matthias Ungermark, Ross Tong and Julian Huxley. They were the 2 pairs that finished 2nd and 8th in the A final of the pairs event yesterday, the under-19 men's Coxless pair. And they lead the West Australian combination, 3 from the Swan River Rowing Club, Hayden Coote, Cameron Glover and Riley Reese-Turner, and also in the 3-seat Duke Gordon of the West Australian Rowing Club, who combined with Riley Reese-Turner yesterday for a bronze medal in the under-19 men's Coxless pair. They are coached by George Zuris and Mark Beer over in Perth, and then they are comfortably clear of the other 2 crews, both from Queensland. Rockhampton Grammar School look to be in the bronze medal at this stage. Riley Goodwin, Reese Byrne, Bradley Burr and Nicholas Story, ahead of Toowong on the far side, Thomas Clark, Sebastian Horder, Tom Riles, James Fallon, the combination there from the Toowong Rowing Club. But Mossman still in front here. The West Australians trying to close at them in the last 120 metres now of this race. Mossman just looked to have enough control, you would think, to be able to hold on, unless the West Australian Swan River crew have a very strong finish left in their tank. It's Mossman hanging on by the best part of a boat length there out in lane 4, the club from here in Sydney, ahead of this West Australian composite crew. And with a couple of strokes to go, it will be Mossman to take out the title in the under-19 men's Coxless 4. They win it by almost a length. Mossman first, the Swan River composite crew in second place. And then in third, it will be Rockhampton Grammar School on this side of the course, ahead of the Toowong combination over in lane 3.
And as our last competitor finishes across the line, the under-19 men's Coxless 4 final was a win for Mossman Rowing Club. Second, Swan River West Australian Composite. Third, Rockhampton Grammar. Fourth, Toowong. The time for that race was 6 minutes 24.18 seconds. The margins 1.98 and 30.39. The presentation of medals for the under-19 women's Coxed 4 Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Margot Harley, Chief Executive Officer of Rowing New South Wales. Third place and bronze medalists, Geelong College. Lily Tierney. Amy Thornton. Holly Lazarus. Kate Dowling. Their cox, Eliza Gross. Second place and silver medalists, Canberra Girls Grammar School. Zara Collison. Grace Turner. Anna Khan. Harriet Wallace. Their cox, Issy Shaw. The crew was coached by Caroline Pipers. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2019, Queenwood School. Lauren Smits. Alexandra Nell. Ingrid Holthoyer. Olivia O'Donnell. Their cox, Kira Osterdahl. The crew was coached by Adam de Koning and Kieran Glynn. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our 2019 Australian champions and medalists in the under-19 women's Coxed 4.
It's been a great first hour of racing this morning. Lizzie, I'll let you introduce this next race, and then taking over from us, it will be Owen Nix and Ray Abbott.
Thank you, Richard. So our final of the under-19 men's Coxed 4. In lane 1, Scotch College, Victoria. In lane 2, St Peter's College. In lane 3, Melbourne Grammar School. In lane 4, Geelong College. In lane 5, Brighton Grammar School. In lane 6, Scotch Oakburn. In lane 7, Geelong Grammar. In lane 8, Toowong. And welcome Owen Nix back to the mic.
Thank you very much, Lizzie Chapman, and great start here for this under-19 men's Coxed 4. It is Scotch Oakburn, you can see on screen 2 from the bottom of the screen, with Geelong Grammar alongside of them, but Scotch Oakburn taking it out hard with the Brighton Grammar School crew that are leading through the first 500 metres. So Brighton Grammar through in 1:35.1, Scotch Oakburn just 0.6 back, Geelong Grammar in third, a further 1.09 back. Melbourne Grammar School in fourth place, followed by St Peter's College, Geelong College, Scotch College and Toowong in 8th position. Very impressive in the heats of this one. The crew from Brighton Grammar School, they're coached by Nick Lloyd, and he's already had a win at this regatta in the pair. In the under-19 pair, that was yesterday morning. So the Brighton Grammar School crew looking to see if they can do the double, take out the pair and the 4 in this under-19, but Scotch Oakburn moving with them in the early stages. So great footage here coming from the drone. The first time we've had that at the Sydney National Rowing Regatta. And you see the field taking the shape of a chevron with the crews that qualified via the qualified the easiest or the fastest, moving towards the centre lanes, and those that came via the repechage, etc., on the outside lanes.
Thanks, Matt. That result comes through.
So Brighton Grammar moving out on Scotch Oakburn, and a good second 500 coming from the Melbourne Grammar School crew. Third from the far side of the course. They've moved up from 4th to 3rd, ahead of Geelong Grammar, who are on this side of the course. And then we go to Geelong College in lane number 4. St Peter's College, who are in 6th. Toowong in 7th. And Scotch College, who we saw put in a magnificent performance in the Schoolboy 8 heats yesterday. Yeah, we've got quite a number of crews up here. They had 3 crews in the under-19 8. And that wasn't including their first 8, so they've got quite a number of rowers here, and they're in 8th position in this under-19 men's 4. But on screen is Brighton Grammar, Jacob Williams, Joshua Bordelucci, Harrison Kirkham and Martin Kaliza. Those last 2 winning the under-19 pair. Charlie Durkin, the coxswain, and Nick Lloyd, the coach, who's a very successful career at the Shore School. And he went to Melbourne Grammar School, won the Barrington Cup in 2009, went across to New Zealand, and been back at Brighton Grammar a few years now and doing a tremendous job there. And they've now moved out to Clearwater over Scotch Oakburn in this under-19 men's Cox 4.
And looking to make it 2 gold medals, having won the pair already, Owen?
That's right. So been a very, very good regatta, and last year's title holders of Southport School, not in this one. No Queensland schools in this one. Toowong Rowing Club from Queensland in this one, and they're on lane number 8, which is closest to the grandstand side of the course. But can anyone catch Brighton Grammar School as they come into the last 530 or so metres? So Brighton Grammar still looking the goods. Ahead of Scotch Oakburn in 2nd position, and Melbourne Grammar School, Nicholas Ward, Ambler, Harry Manton, Jamie Arnold, Dean Clefetos and Will Bennett, the Cox, and I presume Tom Abramovsky would be the coach of that Melbourne Grammar School crew. A lot of those guys out of their first 8, and having a good tussle with Scotch Oakburn. It's Oliver Cox, William Birchmore, Samuel Gray, Thomas Dowling and Matthew Russell in the coxswain seat. James Russell and William Breer, the coaches of that crew, but Melbourne Grammar trying to move up. They're sitting at around about probably Only just a canvas down on the Scotch Oakburn crew, who are starting to come under a fair bit of attack now from also Geelong College and the Geelong Grammar School crew. So the minor medal certainly up for grabs, and St Peter's College seeing if they can mount a charge from over in lane number 2. And it just looks like Toowong and Scotch College are the only two that are right out of it here as they come into the last couple of 100 metres.
Brighton Grammar still on 36 strokes to the minute, so they're not leaving any stone unturned. They're certainly going on with the job, Owen.
That's right. So only about 130 metres left to go for the young men in the bucket hats from Brighton Grammar School. And Melbourne Grammar are throwing out the challenge to Scotch Oakburn, who have been always up there and still hoping to hang on. They're still in the medal position at the moment, but Geelong Grammar coming flying at them. They're sitting at around about 3/4 of a length down. And Geelong College also trying to see if they've got anything left in their sprint. But it's going to be Brighton Grammar. Fine win in the under-19 men's Cox 4. Silver medal to Melbourne Grammar. Good second half of the race from them. Third goes to Scotch Oakburn. Fourth to Geelong Grammar. Fifth to the Geelong College. Sixth to St Peter's College from Adelaide. And they'll be followed by Toowong Rowing Club from Brisbane in 7th. And Scotch College from Melbourne, Victoria in 8th.
Unofficially, first lane 5 Brighton Grammar, second lane 3 Melbourne Grammar, third lane 6 Scotch Oakburn, fourth Geelong Grammar, 5th Geelong College, 6th St Peter's College, 7th Toowong and 8th Scotch College from Victoria. The winning time 6:36.25, but that is unofficial. The presentation of medals for the under-19 men's Coxless 4 Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Margot Harley, Chief Executive Officer, Rowing, New South Wales. In third place and winner of the bronze medals, Rockhampton Grammar School, represented by Riley Godwin, Reese Byrne, Bradley Burr and Nicholas Story, and Rockhampton Grammar coached by John Smythe and Jack Barwick. In second place and winner of the silver medals, Swan River Western Australian Rowing Club Composite, Hayden Coote of Swan River, Cameron Glover of Swan River. Unfortunately, Duke Gordon of Western Australian Rowing Club has another commitment, and the stroke Riley Reese Turner of Swan River, and the crew coached by George Zuris and Mark Beer. Gold medalist and Australian champions for 2019, Mossman Rowing Club, Nicholas Pender, Lexi McLean, Torben Ungermark, and Nick Rath. And the coaches are Matthias Ungermark and Ross Tong. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2019 Australian champions and medalists. And in this next final, the under-21 women's double scull, lane 1 Swan River, lane 2 Melbourne, lane 3 Mercantile Victoria Institute of Sport, lane 4 Toowong Queensland Academy of Sport, lane 5 Sydney, lane 6 ANU ACT Academy of Sport, lane 7 University of Queensland Boat Club, and lane 8 ANU.
And crew on stream there, you can see in lane number 4 with Toowong plastered over their boat is the crew of Phoebe Robinson and Laura Chancellor. Just 40 minutes ago, they took out the under-19 women's Coxless 4. Can they make it 2 national titles in the space of just 40 minutes? Now, we're just rating 28 in the Coxless 4, so they did that one relatively easy. I imagine this one is not going to be near as easy. They're coached by Kieran Dwyer and Ben Southwell, and that's the crew that's in the race lead. Alongside them in the yellow boat is the Sydney Rowing Club crew. There's been a medical substitution in that one. Isabel Johnson, who we saw fall out, and she actually blacked out when she hit the water yesterday. She's been subbed out of the crew in lane number 5. And Crystal Piper, the former Lower Clarence Junior, is there in the Sydney Rowing Club boat. They're coached by Lachlan Carter, and she's there with Lauren Lyon.
And the Melbourne crew, VIS, Phoebe Wolf and Sky Frobel shouldn't be underestimated either, Owen, I don't think.
Exactly. Sky Frobel, been a very, very talented junior. She's moved through the years, made on Australian junior team. At the Melbourne Rowing Club crew, Sky Frobel's old club, Jessica Thompson and Lily Cathcart, coached by a good friend of the person alongside me, David Orchard, that are featuring in this one as they have already made their way up through the first 500. So Toowong leading from Melbourne Rowing Club. University of Queensland, that's Newell and Murchie in 3rd. Mercantile in 4th. Sydney Rowing Club in 5th. ANU in 6th position. That's the ANU ACT. Pathways crew of Greenland and Gillett. And then O'Callaghan and Noonan of Swan River in 7th position.
And that previous shot there of from the drone was absolutely spectacular, as there's another one on your screens now, ladies and gentlemen. And to all those watching it live streaming at home, we hope you're really enjoying the coverage. More than 32,000 people already has viewed the regatta so far through the live streaming.
And that will certainly continue to grow as we move towards more and more finals, and particularly on Sunday's interstate regatta and a lot of the school finals as well, which are always very, very popular. So this leading boat, lane number 4, Toowong in the Queensland Academy of Sport. Phoebe Robinson, who was part of the Australian Junior Women's Coxless 4 that were A finalists last year. Laura Chancellor selected in the Australian Junior Double last year, but an injury to her double sculling partner in the form of Nikki Martincic saw her move into the 4, because also Rachel Balcombe had suffered an injury and she won a silver medal. So that's Laura Chancellor on the left of those two in the stroke seat, and they're leading in a good...
ANU are right there with them, Owen.
Certainly are, coached by Nigel Harding and Nick Hunter. The Australian National University Boat Club, as Nick Hunter often likes to remind us. They are now starting to move their way up into the race lead as these two crews head towards the 1,000-metre mark. So that's the crew of Lily Reardon and Alula Beth Collins. Alula Beth Collins, formerly Canberra Girls Grammar School. And these two pretty much going stroke for stroke. And in 3rd spot, we have the crew in lane number 5 from Sydney Rowing Club, Lauren Lyon and Crystal Piper, coached by Lachlan Carter, that are in 3rd position.
So some nice run in the Australian National University boat there, Owen, and they're just maximising everything from every stroke and just moving away ever so slightly with every stroke they take from the favourites Phoebe Robinson and Laura Chancellor.
You can see Reardon in the bow seat having a look across about every 3 strokes, and yeah,
that may come back to haunt her.
Yeah, you can certainly. I'm pretty sure if you realise that a crew with Laura Chancellor and Phoebe Robinson are always going to be there, so probably no point having to look to confirm that. But it's going to be a great race between these two as they start to make up their way towards the, just through the 1,250 metre mark.
It's stroke for stroke. It's bow ball to bow ball, stroke after stroke.
Yeah, and Sydney there now just starting to get a little bit of a overlap. And then also the Melbourne Rowing Club crew, Thompson and Cathcart, they're in 4th with an overlap on Sydney, and trying to move with them is the other ANU crew of Nicola Greenland and Bianca Gillett. So
and Robinson and Chancellor just getting a bit of a run on there now at the moment. Have got their bow back in front of the Australian National University Boat Club crew as Sydney continues to push through and are in the bronze medal position, but may well push for a greater medal than that.
Yeah, the old push before the 1,500 metre mark. You figure they're probably going to push at the 1,500. Let's get in there first. So that's what Toowong have done, and they've moved out to about half a length over the ANU crew, and just 0.65 of a second back in second position. Sydney Rowing Club in third, Mercantile, Wolf and Frobel in fourth, then followed by Greenland and Gillett. University of Queensland, Melbourne, and then it's back to the Swan River crew in eighth position over on the far side of the course. So half a length in a smaller boat class, can certainly not a safe margin by any means with his ANU crew. Lily Reardon and Lulabeth Collins. It's now starting to stretch out to about 3/4 of a boat length, and Sydney are right there with them.
Toowong have got it up to about 35 strokes to the minute at the moment. It's been effective. It's got them a little margin over the rest of the field, but the Sydney Rowing Club crew may well be the crew that's their biggest danger. ANU just seem to be struggling a little in the last 500.
Yeah, and another little look there from Lily Reardon of ANU, and Sydney is certainly right there with them, and Mercantile look like they are going to be sniffing around the minor medals as well if they've got anything over this last 25 or 30 strokes.
And Sydney Rowing Club continue to push through, Owen.
They do, and they're right there with the Toowong crew, and we'll see how much that extra race 40 minutes ago has started to sting those legs as we get into the last 130 metres. And Toowong continue to lead, but it's only about half a boat length over Sydney Rowing Club. And Sydney Rowing Club, Piper and Lyon. Crystal Piper in the stroke seat, Lauren Lyon in the bow seat. They've started to just shorten up a little bit and get a few extra strokes in at 37 strokes a minute. But Toowong showing their class. They're still maintaining their length and just putting a little bit more emphasis on the acceleration through to the finish. And they hold on to take out 2 national titles in 40 minutes. Great win to Robinson and Chancellor. Silver to Sydney Rowing Club. A bronze to ANU out of lane. A great effort from those girls. Fourth to Mercantile and the VIS, Wolf and Frobel, I should say. And they're followed by ANU in fifth position, University of Queensland in sixth, Melbourne Rowing Club in seventh, and Swan River placing eighth.
Unofficially, first lane 4, Toowong, Queensland Academy of Sport. Second lane 5, Sydney Rowing Club, and a great effort from them with the late change, Crystal Piper in for Isabel Johnson. Third, Australian National University in lane 8. Fourth, Mercantile VIS. Fifth, ANU ACT Academy of Sport. Sixth, University of Queensland Boat Club. Seventh, Melbourne Rowing Club. Eighth, Swan River. Winning time 7 minutes 37.81. That is official. 7:37.81, and that is official. Presentation of medals for the under-19 men's Coxed 4 Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Daniel Tackenberg, Chief Executive Officer of Rowing Western Australia. In third place and bronze medalist, Scotch Oakburn College, represented by Oliver Cox, William Birchmore, Samuel Gray, Thomas Dowling, and the coxswain is Matthew Russell. And the crew was coached by James Russell and William Breyer. In second place, and winners of the silver medals, Melbourne Grammar School. Melbourne Grammar represented by Nicholas Ward Ambler, Harry Manton, Jamie Arnold, Dean Clefutis, and the cox is Will Bennett. Gold medalist and Australian champions for 2019, Brighton Grammar School. Represented by Jacob Williams, Joshua Bertolucci, Harrison Kirkham, Martin Kuliza, and the coxswain is Charlie Durkin, and the crew coached by Nicholas Lloyd. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2019 Australian champions and medalists. Under 21 men's double scull on the course now. The final of that event in lane 1, Swan River, lane 2, Adelaide University, lane 3, Sydney University, lane 4, North Esk, lane 5, Swan River, lane 6, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise, lane 7, University of Technology, Sydney Haberfield, and lane 8, Sydney University Boat Club.
And it is crew from North Esk that are leading this one. Joseph Wilson and Jack Barrett, coached by Trevor Barrett. They were 4th and gold medalists respectively in the under-21 men's single scull. So expecting to see this Launceston-based club do very well in this one. And they led through the first 500 from Sydney University in second spot, just 0.59 back, 0.03 to the crew from Swan River. That's Loveridge and Derricourt. And then it is back to Nerida McQuillan of Swan River, Griffith University Service Paradise in 5th, UTS in 6th, then followed by Adelaide, and then the second of the Sydney University crews, which is on this side of the course, Baton Argent in 8th position. Very good race here going on, stroke for stroke between Sydney University, Jordan Duff, Kieran Riak, and the North Esk crew, Joseph Wilson and Jack Barrett, and Sydney University just put their bow in front, but as I said, that North Esk getting that back on the surge, and these two really duking it out at the head of the field as they start to make their way up towards the 1,000-metre mark. So a very good push late in this second 500 from Sydney University Boat Club as they move ahead of North Esk into second spot, and good race going on between the two crews from Swan River, and then UTS in lane number 7 in the black, white and teal colours. Second from the bottom of the screen, or second from the grandstand if you were here at the venue. They're in 5th position, Griffith University Surfers Paradise next, then followed by Adelaide Uni and Bat and Argent of Sydney University.
So some nice run in the Sydney University boat in the lead over the crew from North Esk. North Esk just get a bit of a surge going there, but the bow's nice and flat in that Sydney University Boat Club crew.
And in third spot is Joe Loveridge, who we know has got that fantastic finish. He's there with Chad Derricourt, so we'll see if they are going to unleash something in the latter stages of this one. But Sydney University Boat Club moving out on the right, or in the bow seat of that boat, is Jordan Duff, Kieran Riak in the stroke seat. And they're sitting at just under half a length to the good of North Esk. We know Jack Barrett's a big, tall, powerful guy. And he's there with Joseph Wilson, two very, very good single scullers and combining well here. And I think there's still plenty more to play out in this one for the fight for the gold medal as they come up to the bridge, which is just shy of the 1,500 metre mark. There's still about 2 and a bit lengths to the Swan River boat, Loveridge and Derricourt in 3rd place. And then the fellow Swan River crew over on the far side of the course, they're in 4th position.
And Sydney Uni rowing a boat called the Andrew Randall, number 2 there, I see. And Andrew, of course, one of the coaches at the National Training Centre, the Reinhold Barchi National Training Centre in Canberra.
Yeah, so Sydney University sitting at half a length and making another little push to see if they can extend that. And I think North Esk are going to have a very strong finish. Jack Barrett's just a strong dude.
He's a very tall young man, that's for sure.
Is. And yeah, with Joseph Wilson and these two duking it out here as we get up towards the last 300 metres with Sydney University in front, and then back to crew from Swan River and UTS have had a very good second half of this one. That's Angus Gall and Oscar Williams. Oscar Williams, who's in his first season of racing, he's already sub 6 minute erg and spent a lot of time down on the RP3. But yeah, certainly.
As you predicted, here comes the Northeast push.
And they've started to really unleash something, and we'll see if Sydney University have got a response. It's North-esque with the lead as they come into the last 100 metres from Sydney University Boat Club. So Jack Barrett and Joseph Wilson are leading by about around about half a boat length now on Sydney University Boat Club. Over on the far side, Nerid and McQuillan are just going about their business in the bronze medal position, but it's going to be gold, timed to perfection. North-esque claim gold. Sydney University will get the silver medal. And over on the far side of the course, Hugo Nerid and Miles McQuillan, I think, have surprised a few others in this field. They claim the bronze medal. Fourth goes to Loveridge and Derricourt, also of Swan River, and fifth to UTS. Sixth will be Adelaide University, followed by Griffith University Surfers Paradise in seventh. And Baton Argent of Sydney University will be eighth.
Unofficially first North-esque, second Sydney University, third Swan River, fourth Swan River, fifth UTS, sixth Adelaide Uni, seventh Griffith Uni, eighth Sydney Uni, winning time 6:39.69. Unofficial, as I said, but that will be the way it is. Presentation of medals for the Under-21 Women's Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Daniel Tackenberg, Chief Executive Officer, Rowing, Western Australia. Third place and bronze medalist, Australian National University Boat Club, represented by Lily Reardon and Alula Beth Collins, and their coaches Nigel Harding and Nick Hunter. In second place and silver medalists, Sydney Rowing Club, represented by Lauren Lyon and Crystal Piper, and the coach is Lachlan Carter. Gold medalist and Australian champions for 2019, Toowong Rowing Club and the Queensland Academy of Sport, represented by Phoebe Robinson and Laura Chancellor. And the coaches are Kieran Dwyer and Ben Southwell. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2019 Australian champions and medalists. Race 319, the Under-21 Women's Coxed 4 Championship of Australia. In Lane 2, Mercantile. Lane 3, Loretto Old Scholars and Community Rowing Club. Lane 4, Sydney University. Lane 5, Swan River. Scratch, Lane 6. Lane 7, Melbourne University Boat Club.
Yeah, so Crystal Piper was due to be in the Sydney Rowing Club boat, but they're just receiving the silver medal from the Under-21 Women's Double Scull. So as a result, had to pull the 4. And we've got the field of 5 and due to start in the next minute or so.
So as we've said, Owen, some fantastic pictures coming from the drone and from the cameras all over. And we thank BMA for the great job they're doing up here in the tower and providing these pictures, along with John Meeking, of course, who's been working here at the Sydney International Regatta Centre since it opened.
Yeah, that's right. John does an amazing job, knows this venue back to front, and he has worked with Rowing New South Wales for about 30, 40 years, and then with the venue here for a very, very long time indeed, and does a tremendous job with very little fuss and a very, very dry sense of humour. It's all about what you get with John, so he does a tremendous job, and he's assisted by Nathan up there providing the coverage from the various cameras around this course.
As we see a cracking start from one of those cameras.
That's right, and it is the Swan River boat there in lane number 5 that's gotten off to a very good start. Charlotte Hill, Emma Wilson, Jessica Walsh, Lauren Hutton and Jennifer Bolster, the coxswain, and Neville Kempton and Mark Beer, the coaches of that boat, and starting to move their way up into second position is the Sydney University Boat Club crew. Portia Gateskill, who's moved over from the United States. Danielle Stewart, Jamie Ford, Raquel Cuvas and Talia Barnett-Heppels in the bow of that boat as the coxswain. And a good start from Mercantile. Giolekis, Butterworth, Frederico and Tuddenham, with Lily Arnoul coxing the Bridget Carlisle coached crew. And it's those three that are getting their bows out in front as they come up towards the 300-metre mark.
And of course, Frederico, a very famous rowing name, not only in Victoria but in Australia as well.
That's right.
Justice Hubert Frederico.
With the Mercantile Rowing Club, you can see at the top of the screen there. So the bow of lane 7, Melbourne University, Walmsley, Somerville, Foley and McKeaney Douglas. And we saw them have a very, very good finish, McKeaney Douglas, and they're with Eleanor Price yesterday to claim a bronze medal in the under-21 Coxless pair. Now they're currently in 4th position, leading the Loretto Old Scholars in Community Rowing Club. You have Jones, Sexton, McCallum and Smith, who are back in 5th position. But at Sydney University with the race lead, it's already been a successful morning for Coach Alpha Young. He coaches there with Debbie Fox, the Sydney University Boat Club crew, and they're moving out to an advantage of around about a third of a length over Mercantile over on the far side of the course. So very little separating those two boats. And the early race leader, Swan River, in 3rd spot, Melbourne University in 4th, and the South Australian Club, Lawson CRC, or Loretto Old Scholars and Community Rowing Club, in 5th position. So they come up to the bridge, you can see where the crews come from the training lake and enter the competition lake. That's 750 metres gone. There's a big 750 metre mark right on that bridge. And it is Sydney University Boat Club with the race advantage. So Portia Gateskill, originally was moved over from the US. Danielle Stewart and Jamie Ford, having rowed at Queenwood School, where Alpha Young is Director of Rowing, and Raquel Cuvas, the former Nepean junior, in the stroke seat there with the sunglasses on. And she's been at Sydney University Boat Club a few years now. Talia Barnett-Heppels, a former Queenwood coxswain, in the bow of that boat that's in the lead and enjoying half a boat length's advantage over Mercantile on the far side of the course. Making their way up through the 1,000-metre mark. Sydney University Boat Club leading Mercantile, and it is crew from Swan River in 3rd spot. Though Melbourne University are certainly making themselves prominent, just 1.05 seconds back in 4th position. And the Loretto Old Scholars and Community Rowing Club are back in 5th position, and just starting to find this pace a little bit too hot for their liking.
So the title holders, Mercantile, Victorian Institute of Sport, but Sydney University starting to move away here. I think by the time they get to the next marker, they may have a length lead over the crew from Mercantile.
Yeah, it's been a pretty solid push in this third 500 metres from Sydney University Boat Club. We saw that in the previous race, though. Some good middle 1,000 from Sydney University, and North Esk managed to overrun them. We'll see how it goes in this Cox 4. Obviously, a turn of speed is a bit harder in a much bigger boat. They're through and heading up towards the 1,300 metre mark. And as Ray very well predicted, Sydney University now just starting to stretch it out to a boat length over Mercantile. And you can just see the bow of Swan River at the left of the screen. And they're coming under a great deal of pressure from Melbourne University on this side of the course. In lane number 7, they're coached by James Smith, who's a development coach at MUBC. He's a New Zealander that went across to Kinross Wallaroi School in the New South Wales Central West. Did a very good job there and won a number of national titles there, and he's been in his second season at Melbourne University Boat Club.
They're just opening up now, aren't they? They're just taking a little more lead. Almost every stroke they take, they're just widening that gap ever so slightly with every stroke over the Mercantile crew. Good effort from Mercantile, but they're 3.78 seconds behind. And at the moment, no match for the speed of the Sydney University Boat Club crew, as Owen has said, coached by Alfie Young and Debbie Fox.
And a very, very good race going on for the bronze medal, just 0.08 separating Melbourne University, have moved up into third spot from Swan River, who are the early race leaders. So I wonder how much is left in the legs of the Western Australians there. Charlotte Hill, Emma Wilson, Jessica Walsh, Lauren Hutton, as we get into the last 350 metres. So Melbourne University finishing this one off very strongly indeed. But at the head of the field, it is still no overlap of Mercantile with Sydney University. Sydney University just continuing to just eke it out with each little stroke. They just take a couple of centimetres here and there and make their way up into the last couple of 100 metres. They'll look to be controlling this race very well indeed. Mercantile in the silver medal spot. And they're trying to lift the rating, but it'll be a bit of a job too far, it would seem, with less than 100 metres left to go. Sydney University Boat Club in control here in the under-21 Women's Cox 4 Championship of Australia as they lead Mercantile, Melbourne University and Swan River having a great tussle for the bronze medal. And it's Melbourne University with the upper hand in that one. But Sydney University, a fine performance here, pure control of this race. Take out the gold medal, silver going to Mercantile, and Melbourne University still keeping Swannies just at a very slender gap. And Melbourne University Boat Club will claim the bronze medal just ahead of Swan River. And the Loretto Old Scholars and Community Rowing Club will place 5th.
Unofficially, first Sydney University Boat Club, second Mercantile, third Melbourne Uni, fourth Swan River, fifth Loretto Old Scholars and Community Rowing Club, about to cross the line in the winning time, 7 minutes 14.09. The presentation of medals for the Under-21 Men's Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will again be presented by Mr. Daniel Tackenberg, Chief Executive Officer, Rowing Western Australia. In third place, winner of the bronze medal, Swan River Rowing Club, represented by Hugo Nerad and Miles McQuillan, and the crew coached by Mark Beer and Neville Kempton. In second place and silver medalist, Sydney University Boat Club, represented by Jordan Duff and Kieran Riak, and coached by Don McLaughlin. Gold medalist and Australian champions for 2019, North Esk Rowing Club. Represented by Joseph Wilson and Jack Barrett, and coached by Trevor Barrett. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2019 Australian champions and medalists.
Couple of hours, so head on down to the Aon tent in the Regatta Village.
Race 320, the under-21 men's Cox 4 final underway. Lane 1, Sydney Uni. Lane 2, Melbourne Uni VIS. Lane 3, Sydney. Lane 4, Toowong. Lane 5, Mossman. Lane 6, Swan River. Lane 7, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise. And Lane 8, Western Australian Rowing Club.
And a very, very good start in this one with the crew from Sydney Rowing Club that have just started to put their bow in front. That's Ash Nichols, Torin Olsen, Oscar Carr Middleton and Oscar Olsen. Oscar Carr Middleton over from Eton College, and Oscar Olsen, King's College Wimbledon, who was a winner in the World Junior Championships in the men's 8 for Great Britain last year. And he's there with Ash Nichols, formerly of the King's School, and Torin Olsen, the son of Kirk Olsen, who was a very, very good Sydney Rowing Club sculler in the 80s, that are leading this one. And Harry Keenan in the Coxswain seat. They're coached by Franz Imfeld, 4-time Henley winning coach, and Donovan Seck, of course, multi-Olympian for South Africa. And Sydney Rowing Club in the race lead out of lane number 3. And as Mossman now on screen in lane number 5. Connor Hopkins, Justin Brown, Mitch Blackmore Cram and Bjarne Ungermark. Gabby Angus in the bow of that boat. And they're in second position, coached by Matthias Ungermark and Judith Ungermark. And in between them is Toowong Rowing Club from Brisbane, Queensland, who are in the third spot as they make their way through the 1,000-metre mark. So those top 3, followed by Melbourne University in fourth position out of lane number 2. Swan River are in 5th. Griffith University Service Paradise in 6th. Sydney University Boat Club in 7th. And the West Australian Rowing Club, West Australian Institute of Sport crew of Duke Gordon, who we saw get a medal earlier on this morning, or win a medal earlier on this morning. And he's had to go back up for this one. He's there with Bailey Flecker, Gus Loftman and Hamish Enriquez, who hasn't really been challenged all regattas, finding a big challenge here in the Cox 4. They're back in 8th position.
He's had a busy program, Hamish Enriquez, and his win in the single scull was very impressive, 7.08 for a junior.
Yeah, that was certainly one of the regatta highlights, and his double with Harry Fox earlier on this morning. Very, very good indeed. So that's the Sydney Rowing Club crew on screen. Oscar Olsen in the stroke seat. And they lead from Mossman to Wong, and then it's Melbourne University now on screen. And Michael Poulter doing a very, very good job down there at Melbourne University Boat Club. We saw them get 4 crews into the final of one of the underage pairs events. And the Melbourne University Vis crew doing a very, very good job.
Okay, thanks, mate.
The Sydney Rowing Club crew quite relaxed there in lane number 3 as Toowong are starting to make a bit of a push and get on terms with the Mossman Rowing Club crew alongside of them. They start to make their way through the 1,500-metre mark. It is still Mossman just 0.11 ahead of the crew from Toowong. And then it is Melbourne University on the far side, Swan River. They're in 5th and followed by Griffith University Service Paradise. And then on this side of the course, the West Australian Rowing Club Waste crew has moved ahead of Sydney University over on the far side of the course.
The Sydney Rowing Club have got a nice, almost 2/3 of a length there, Owen, but a great race for the silver and bronze between Toowong and Mossman.
Yeah, they certainly, those bows pretty much moving right in sync there in that race for second spot. Toowong just now just edging ahead ever so narrowly. Sydney Rowing Club holding them at about 3/4 of a boat length. Guys are drawing nice and flat there, the Sydney Rowing Club crew, and they're not wasting too much energy as they accelerate that boat. And they're through the 1,500 metre mark.
Mossman coming back at Toowong.
Yeah, so these guys are really going to earn their medals in this one. And great tussle going on for second and third. And in the meantime, they're just starting to see if they can, that battle will draw them back up with Sydney Rowing Club, who have led this race pretty much from the get-go. So only 120 metres left to go. And it's Sydney Rowing Club leading this great battle between Toowong and Mossman. Swan River and Melbourne University Boat Club are fighting it out for fourth spot. Toowong trying to really lift it here. They're still keeping their length and just upping the intensity, upping the pressure at around about 37 strokes a minute. And Mossman on this side of the course also trying to respond with them. It's going to be stroke for the silver medal. Sydney Rowing Club claim the gold. I think Toowong just have edged out Mossman for the silver medal. And we'll await official results on that one. Fourth to Melbourne University VIS ahead of Swan River in fifth. Sixth to West Australian Rowing Club Wace, followed by Griffith University Service Paradise in seventh and Sydney University Boat Club in eighth.
Unofficially first Sydney Rowing Club, second Toowong, third Mossman, fourth Melbourne Uni VIS, fifth Swan River, sixth Western Australian Rowing Club, Western Australian Institute of Sport, seventh Griffith Uni Surface Paradise, eighth Sydney University Boat Club, winning time 6:31.34. The medal presentation for the Under-21 Women's Coxed 4 Championship of Australia. Medals be presented by Mr. Nick Gall, Chief Executive Officer of Rowing Victoria. The third place crew unable to attend as they are in another event. I'll read their names. Sophie Walmsley, Alex Somerville, Laura Foley, Bridget McKegney Douglas, Cox, Phoebe Georgakis, and coached by James Smith. Second place and silver medalist, Mercantile Rowing Club. Represented by Ruby Gialucas, Daisy Butterworth, Emmy Frederico and Mimi Tuddenham. And the cox is Lily Arnoul. And the coach is Bridget Carlisle. Gold medalist and Australian champions for 2019, Sydney University Boat Club. Represented by Portia Gatskill, Danielle Stewart, Jamie Ford, Raquel Cuvas, the coxswain Talia Barnett Heppels, and the coaches Alfie Young and Debbie Fox. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2019 Australian champions and medalists. So that's it for Owen and I for the next hour or so, and we'll now bring you Ben Homer and Richard Dorstein to bring you the next packet of races.
Thank you to Owen and Ray for the past hour of racing. And we move on to race 321 now on the course. The final of the under-23 women's double scull. A field of 7 just underway. Banks lane 1, ANU and Mossman in 2, Adelaide and Sydney in lane 3, Sydney and the West Australian Rowing Club in lane 4. It is University of Queensland in 5, Cairns and Tamar in lane 6, Adelaide in 7, and North Esk, Brisbane and GPS in lane 8. And they're on their way. And welcome back for the first time today to Ben Homer.
Good morning, Richard. I hope you had a good evening and morning and nice and early. Good to be back in here this morning, and the water is looking very nice, as you can see, very tight at the start of this race, the under-23 women's double. I can tell you there's a few here with some pedigree in terms of the under-21 women's double last year. Romola Davenport, she's in lane 3. She won gold last year with Harriet Hudson in the under-21 event. You can just see her in the light blue Zudi over in lane 3 in the stroke seat. And Harriet Hudson, she won gold last year with Romola Davenport. She's in lane 4 this year with Georgia Patton from Western Australia Rowing Club. So those two champions last year in the under-21 going up against each other. So we'll see how that pans out. As you can see, the times coming through for the first 500 metres, and it's the Sydney WA Rowing Club composite. So it's Patton and Hudson who are ahead at this point. Thompson and Alton in second, Wrigley and McCarthy Smith in third place, and then Romola Davenport and Bramwell in fourth as it stands. So very tight through the first 500, as you would expect, Richard. And how about that shot from the drone? That is incredible. I love the work of the drone. Amazing what technology can do these days. That is just amazing.
Yeah, brilliant shots coming through from the drones, and from the side of the course you can see, I think, a better view than we've got from here at the finish tower of those crews making their way down the course, pretty much in perfect arrow formation to Ben. The leading crews there in the centre lanes of the course, lanes 4 and 5, who've gone through as the semi-final winners and seated to the centre lanes, and certainly they're our top 2 crews, Patton and Hudson of Sydney and the West Australian Rowing Club in lane 4, and Thompson and Alton from the University of Queensland beside them there in lane 5.
Yeah, and you can see Romola Davenport alongside Ella Bramwell, the Adelaide and Sydney rowers over there in lane number 3. Lane 4, you've got Patton and Hudson, who are in lane 4, who are ahead at this point. And then you've got Uni of Queensland's Rhea Thompson and Lily Alton, and then Wrigley and McCarthy Smith, who are further across. So, yeah, very tight between the top 3, the gold, silver and bronze medal positions. Those ones very much up for grabs. We're going to get the 1,000 metre timing at the moment, and it's 3:34.42 the time that Patton and Hudson go past the 1,000 metre tower in. Just 1.19 seconds further back, Rhea Thompson and Lily Alton, and then Wrigley and McCarthy Smith in third, and Davenport and Bramwell a long way back in fourth. So you sense that the top 3 is all set up here, Richard, but gold, silver and bronze, well, you can't split them at the moment.
You can't, no, and these are the top 6 from the single scull event yesterday, too, all in the top 3 spots now of the double scull. So Rhea Thompson, the winner of the under-19 men's single scull, women's single scull. The 23, I should have. 23 women's single scull. Rhea Thompson, the winner. Lily Alton, wearing with her, finished in 5th place. Second and third in that same event were Harriet Hudson of Sydney and Georgia Patton of the West Australian Rowing Club, who are combining here on lane 4. And then 4th place went to the Tamar Sculler, Alexandra Wrigley, and Taylor McCarthy Smith finished in 6th place. Those two combining in the canned composite crew on lane 6. So, as you'd expect from the single scull events, the top 6 from that are our top 3 double sculls this time around.
Yeah, and Rhea Thompson, who is in lane 6 and was second, you can see they've slipped back a little bit. She won, I should say, lane 5. She won gold in this event last year when she was rowing for Mercantile, the Victorian club. She's moved up to the Uni of Queensland. She won gold with Amanda Bateman this year with Lily Alton, and this year in the silver medal position. And they look to be pulling away just slightly. Georgia Patton and Harriet Hudson, coached by Donovan Seck, Rhett Iliff and Lachlan Carter, that NSWIS WA Institute of Sport composite crew. Very, very strong crew. And at the moment, they are looking to be the crew that is going to go through and win gold in this one. 5:23.60. Uni of Queensland 3 seconds further back, and then the Canned and Tamar composite in third, a couple of seconds further back. But they are going to need a lift here in the last 500 metres because Patton and Hudson look to be just holding them off and potentially even just increasing that lead slightly. But you can see the lift there from Thompson and Alton. They know they have to respond, and they've done so.
Yeah, it's now or never for the University of Queensland in second place there. They sit just over a length behind our race leaders from the Sydney and West Australian rowing clubs, who look pretty comfortable there, Patton and Hudson in lane 4. But the University of Queensland still chasing, and Canned Tamar in there in third place, of course, as well, with Alexander Wrigley and Taylor McCarthy-Smith, the junior single sculler for Australia last year.
And you can see Harriet Hudson in the stroke seat. She's really powering through there. And Georgia Patton in bow, keeping up the rating. So at the moment, it's going to take a lot from Rhea Thompson and Lily Alton, coached by Ben Southwell, the Uni of Queensland and Queensland Academy of Sport crew, if they are to win gold in this one. Remembering that Rhea Thompson did win gold last year with Amanda Bateman. It's looking as though it could be a bridge too far. They really have to pull something out of the hat now, and you can see Wrigley and McCarthy-Smith, they are back in third place as it stands with 100 metres to travel, but it is still Georgia Patton and Harriet Hudson well ahead and just doing well to hold off Thompson and Alton. Wrigley and McCarthy-Smith in third. The top three well clear of the rest of the field, but it will be Georgia Patton and Harriet Hudson who claim the Australian Championship in the under-23 women's double scull. Second place goes the way of Rhea Thompson and Lily Alton, and then Alexandra Wrigley and Taylor McCarthy-Smith take bronze in that Canned Tamar composite. So Harriet Hudson won gold last year in the under-21 double. She takes it in the under-23 double in 2019. Romola Davenport will have to settle for fourth with Ella Bramwell. Fifth goes the way of Gibson Pretorius from ANU and Mossman. Nicholson and Zilm from Adelaide in sixth. And it will be the Banks crew finishing in seventh. And on this near side, the North Esk, Brisbane and GPS composite of Georgia Mackay and Jessica Malasauskas.
To confirm the unofficial results, as the last couple of crews cross the line, the final of the under-23 women's double scull. First place, Georgia Patton and Harriet Hudson from the West Australian and Sydney Rowing Club. Second, University of Queensland, Thompson and Alton. Third, Canned and Tamar, McCarthy-Smith and Wrigley, our medalists in the under-23 women's double scull. The winning time there, 7:13.22. And 4.02 seconds, the margin of victory for the Sydney and West Australian combination. The presentation of medals for the under-21 men's Coxed 4 Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Nick Gall, Chief Executive Officer of Rowing Victoria. In third place, and bronze medalists, representing the Mossman Rowing Club, Connor Hopkins, Justin Brown, Mitch Blackmore-Cram, Björn Ungemach, Gabby Angus. Coaches Matthias Ungemach and Judith Ungemach. In second place, and silver medalists, representing the Toowong Rowing Club, Max Crow, Jack Kibble, Jethro Gifford, Benjamin Pincus, Jasmine Halley. Coaches Kieran Dwyer and Leo Karadimitrius. Our gold medalists and Australian champions for 2019, representing the Sydney Rowing Club, Ash Nichols, Torrin Olsen, Oscar Carr Middleton, Oscar Olsen, Harry Keenan, coaches Franz Imfeld and Donovan Seck. Please congratulate the 2019 Australian champions and medalists.